Hello everyone, welcome to Gdansk, Poland, day 2 here on week number 5. We start the day with the rhythm dance. Mark Henry will be giving us all the details as he joined us from his studio in Nottingham. Now the favorites going into this have to be Katarina Wolfkostin and Dimitry Tsarevski of the United States. They have 13 points. They're looking for top spot here to guarantee their trip to the Junior Grand Prix final in Grenoble in December. But after that, the podium is wide open. 18 teams take to the ice from 14 nations. The rhythm dance starts right now. Welcome everyone to Gdansk, Poland. As the beautiful, beautiful sun sets on the old town as we fly over the Olympia Arena, made in the 70s, back in my era. Mark Henry joining us from Nottingham this morning. Mark, good morning and welcome to the broadcast.
Good morning, Ted, and good morning, everybody. Here for another long and exciting day of skating. And I think with the ice dance event, what's exciting in this competition, as you said in the introduction, as we see the judging lineup, is the openness of the competition, and that's not perhaps as commonly seen in this discipline.
Yeah, no, it's pretty exciting that way. Who's going to emerge in sort of your second, third, and fourth spot, or perhaps even, top spot? We'll see. And as we take a look at the technical panel as well, and so in some ways, this is an exciting event because we don't know what's going to happen. It's all open, and not that it ever wasn't open. It's just that you had teams that had more experience, perhaps, and so you kind of had an idea on favorites. So coming into the event, but in this case, it's wide open. We'll see.
Actually, in this event, Ted, there are, I hadn't mentioned this to you before, but I found out there are 7 ice dance teams debuting on the Junior Grand Prix. So that, in addition, kind of enhances our awareness of the unknown. 7 new teams, so less scope for us to pitch what might happen.
Yeah, exactly. So as we are on our first warm-up, I wanted to do a shout out, or say a shout out to Gerald and Moira Hanratty, the parents of Mark. So I had the pleasure to meet them in Vancouver when they were there going on a cruise up to Alaska. We had them at a beach place, a little restaurant right on the beach in West Vancouver, my wife and myself, and we spent some time with them. It was awesome. And I asked them about Mark, and I said, how was Mark as a little boy? And we don't actually have enough time to talk about that right now, which is really good for Mark, which is really fortunate for Mark. It was hilarious, but a lovely parents, and so kind and so much fun. We sort of connected with them sort of right away. Kind of wish we got on the boat with them and went to Alaska. So, and they had a great trip. So it was so nice to meet Gerald and Moira, and we thank them for the time they've spent with us. And they've done a pretty good job with Mark, and I'm leaving a little room there, Mark, for,
I am so incredibly blessed to have the parents that I have. They're just brilliant, wonderful, wonderful humans. And that is what I've been learning more and more about as we chat to the skaters, and particularly when we've chatted to some of the experts that have joined us who've been vocal in the contribution that their parents make to their lives. And I consider myself incredibly fortunate. And also, talking about parents, it only serves to reaffirm the importance of the parents in the life of the Junior Grand Prix skaters that are performing now, because they will be, I'm sure, right now on the edge of their seats with heart rates that are incomprehensibly high, given that they might just be sitting down.
Yeah, and it's such a special time as these juniors move into seniors. It starts to unfold how much your parents and your siblings have committed to your pursuit of a dream, and the pride and feeling about your family's support as you move along this really unusual and unique and special journey. It's amazing, and I know the appreciation just grows with every day as you learn more about the commitments that the family makes. And so we see a young team here, and they're all on these special journeys. We thank the brothers and sisters as well, not just the parents, but the brothers and sisters at home who may be pursuing their own dreams, and it takes a family, both at home and at the rink.
Yeah, and having chatted to Katarina, who was in a Kostner world champion, was telling me, and that interview will be released later today, I understand. She was talking about the other family members that she knew who were alpine skiers, and she was referencing also a friend who became a freestyle skier, I believe, or freestyle snowboarder. And while she praised them and sang their praises effusively, she also acknowledged that the awareness of those people in other sports showcased to her really how life-consuming her sport was, much more so than perhaps those other successful athletes in different disciplines. And so then that makes us appreciate all the time and the energy that the parents give, because few parents, especially if they don't have a tradition of ice skating, will know when they introduce their child to the sport the life commitment that it's going to take up for them and the whole family. So yeah, well done to everybody for surviving this long to get to Junior Grand Prix.
It's kind of best that they don't know what they're getting into.
Yes.
But, at any rate, of course, we have some parents that travel with their skaters, with their kids here, not only in Gdansk, but other Junior Grand Prix. Not so many, because you want the young skaters to have this experience by themselves, and you kind of yearn as a parent to go with them and experience this, but at the same time, letting them out of the nest on their own is a very good thing for the skaters and the coaches to work together. And the parents, it's tough as a parent. I've done that when your child leaves the nest. It's one of the hardest things in life, and it's difficult to be prepared for that emotional moment. But it's such an important moment, because these skaters are on the ice by themselves. They're not with you on the ice. They're not with the coaches on the ice. They're by themselves, and they have to be able to stand alone. And so the parents not going with them is a great addition for many of them, and some get to have that wonderful experience to join them here in competition. So, Mark, let's go day number 2, rhythm dance. 3 events, 12 hours and 5 minutes. We're 10 minutes shorter today.
On the ice representing Slovakia.
Well, we saw Vaclavikova perform in the men's event successfully in the short program. Now it is the turn of his sister Aneta with partner Ivan Morozov. Talented team who were top 10 when they competed in Ostrava. This is their first Junior Grand Prix series. Aneta Vaclavikova and Ivan Morozov start the second day of competition in Gdansk. And Aneta had explained that she's been unwell, hampering their preparations for this competition, but their fundamental technique, their skating skills are so well established already that their quality and potential shines through.
Yeah, we were talking about that, Mark, that Theo Zani and his team do such a good job of preparing these athletes no matter what stage they're at in their development. This team tracks each other very well. They stay close. The synchronization is good. Basic skating skills as we take a look at the Twizzlers. Take us through this, Mark.
Yeah, and the entry edge for the first and second Twizzle must be different. The hands above their shoulder, that one of their features. And here, going a clockwise direction. The rhythm dance must progress in a generally constant direction. Here, the Paso Doble 1, where the Ivan is skating the man steps, and this key point here. So those chassis, part of the key point that the technical panel will be looking at to scrutinize whether sufficient edge quality is achieved. Here, straight line left, Ivan in the spread eagle is a difficult position. Aneta in the beautiful split and the 1 foot exit, another feature to secure a comfortable level 4. Here, the non-touch midline step sequence, and this is the point in time where that step can potentially boost the level. The rocker here, outside twizzle, another one of the coveted difficult turns there, a chop top. The toe steps just enhancing the composition. This, an allowed stop, all just to boost the second mark as opposed to the tech score. And coach Katarina Müller joins them in the kiss and cry. Katarina, an Olympian just as recent as 2022, and now she works with Matteo and Barbara to produce these brilliant skaters.
The rhythm dance scores for Aneta and Ivan, season's best, 51.16. They start out with a bang. Strong score, strong performance, and some joy in the kiss and cry. Great start.
Przed Państwem reprezentanci Francji. Next to skate, representing France, Louise, Cohas-Bogey and Daniil.
And now to one of the 7 dance teams in this event, debuting on the Junior Grand Prix, Louise Cohas-Bogey and Daniil Grishin. She turned 15 on Monday of this week. And they will skate to Rich Man's Frug, and boots are made for walking. Well, huge congratulations to Louise Cohas-Bogey and Daniil Grishin representing France, their first Junior Grand Prix. And Ted, I struggled to find any information really about this team, but I did know that the coach Barbara Piton, we have seen her other teams on the Junior Grand Prix, and indeed we'll see her other team again in this event. And there's a common denominator here in that the coach is obviously producing really good quality, as showcased again between Louise and Daniil in their first competition.
Really fun choreography. Team skates extremely close. Look at the midline steps here. Mark, go ahead. I'll step back while you take us through this.
Well, here just working the edges, and both of the skaters achieving a level 2, so 3 difficult turns deemed cleanly done by the team. And here in this rhythm dance, the teams have to have or showcase dances from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This, the Paso Doble 2, and the key points here, these chassis, the outside edge of the chassis must showcase clean, deep, clear edges. But how wonderful was that stylization with the Fosse-style articulation of the head movement from Louise. And here the twizzles, just a little lack of synchronicity. But in and out of each element is that clear theme that they've gone with. Your change of pose and the 1-foot exit. And as I said, the rhythm dance for both juniors and seniors must showcase social dance styles from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And this, a different take from Louise and Daniil and coach and choreographer Barbara, who joins them. And I thought they did it. They embraced the concept.
Yeah, great job. 49.38, and that'll put them currently in second place, second team out in this event for Louise and Daniil. But just within less than 2 points difference. And as we talked about, the podium wide open.
And now to another team debuting on the Junior Grand Prix, Alexandra, Levy and Alain Llorente representing Switzerland. They did an exhibition program to Greece already and loved it. And so when the theme for this year was released, they knew that they would want to skate to Greece again.
My eyes are on the first to cry.
And another Junior Grand Prix debut completed for this team. Alexandra, Levy and Alain Laurent representing Switzerland. And as I mentioned, they performed to this music in exhibition, so we're already connected, comfortable with it, and this providing the perfect framework for the rhythm dance for this season. And I think, Ted, what's really great in seeing Alexandra and Alain here is the continued appreciation for the Swiss skating development, and Switzerland and Swiss skaters represented in all 4 disciplines here in Gdansk, pairs, men, women.
It's amazing. They're doing a great job at development early on and getting people involved in all the disciplines. And that may change through time. Partnerships can change and whatnot, but wow, what a great job. And they have to introduce these teams early on, as this team of Alexandra and Alan, it's their first time out.
And as we look here at the sequential twizzle, just interesting to note, as you said, Ted, that the couple seem comfortable doing the first and third twizzle both in the clockwise direction. Most skaters find anti-clockwise more comfortable, but it seemed like both Alexandra and Alan were comfortable in the reverse. Here, I thought while we look at the Pas Doble 1, that the timing of this was excellent. I thought throughout the Junior Grand Prix sometimes that the timing seemed unclear for a lot of the skaters, but who knew that the Grease soundtrack would provide such a clear timekeeping for sequences of the Pas Doble as we look at the change of pose in this straight line lift. And here the non-touch, and again interspersing the difficult turns with some very obvious composition and presentation. Just a level 1 for both Alexandra and Alan. That an indication of where they're at in their development. We talk about the development of the single skaters, and that's often dictated by the planned program content difficulty of the jumps they do. The development stage for the dance teams is often level of the stage.
Yeah, and you know, this is their very first time out on the Junior Grand Prix, so the points in some ways don't matter, the experience does, and what you see here is the basic skating skills are there, even though it's a relatively new team, so that's a great start, and I think we see that through all the Swiss skaters, whether it's single pairs or dance, the basics, the skating skills, you build on top of that foundation. Let's take a look at the scores. Rhythm dance 44.48 for Alexandra Levy and Alain Laurent of Switzerland. And that'll put them currently into 3rd place.
From Switzerland have earned in rhythm dance 44.48 total points. They are currently in 3rd place. Przywitajmy reprezentantów Chin. On the ice representing China, Xinyi Yu and Tianyi Yu.
And now to the next team that represent China, Xinyi Yu and Tianyi Liu, who haven't competed on the Junior Grand Prix for a couple of years. Xinyi Yu and Tianyi Liu, representing China, complete their rhythm dance, celebrating with a high five. A team that last competed on the Junior Grand Prix in Ostrava 2 seasons ago with a score of 43.39, and this 2 years of a difference, an obvious improvement for the skaters.
You know, it's so interesting. We were talking a little bit off air about the difficulty of dancing to maybe not part of your culture, whether it is Eastern European, North American, Asian, whatever it is, and it's difficult. But the internet helps you study and learn the different eras of music, amongst other things, of course.
Absolutely, and as I've said, the required characteristics are high energy, identifiable 50s, 60s and 70s dance styles, as we see the twizzles. And so then going with this disco, Xinyi Yu and Tianyi Liu have picked something recognizable. I think probably the most recognizable choice of those that are listed by the Ice Dance Technical Committees. We see them push through the twizzles. Here, difficult entry and a change of pose requiring significant turnout of the foot to avoid blade to body. And here, passo doble 1. And here the latter stages where the key points reside. 4 key points for the teams, 2 for each partner in each passo sequence. And actually, Xinyi and Tianyi, I think, have had the most successfully called key points of
so far
any of the teams thus far.
Yeah, exactly. And a level 2 and a level 3 for the midline steps. That's pretty good. That's good.
Ooh,
basic
that's
skating
really
skills. Really nicely done. Let's take a look at the rhythm dance scores. 48.74. That'll put them currently into 3rd place. Pretty happy with that. Pretty good basics with this team. Connected with music really nicely as well.
They're currently in 3rd place.
All very
Good
close.
tech scores.
The following couples may now take the ice for the warm-up.
Okay, Mark, the first of many warm-ups during today as we take a look at the group number 2 coming onto the ice. Do we have any questions that have come in from viewers?
Yes. The first one humors me a little bit, but it's a relevant question, and we thank everybody that has sent in any questions. As you see, Katarina Wolfkostin warming up. It comes from @Marianne_Kron. A question. Oh, well, first of all, I'll say this to you, Ted. She starts prior to the question saying, "For Mark and Ted, been watching a lot of figure skating since the beginning of the year, and I haven't enjoyed any commentary as much as yours." So that's very kind. Thank you.
Very nice.
The question comes about men's costumes. Not, I think ordinarily, Ted, the interest is piqued by what the women wear, but this question is about the men's costume, and she explains many wear black pants or trousers. Are these often reused in both programs and across multiple seasons, or are they as specific to the programs as the tops?
Well, let me answer that this way. When mom and dad are paying the bills for the costumes, they're going, you know, you're wearing those black pants pretty much everywhere, right? So, yeah, no, they're not specific to the dance that they would be reused in, you know, any situation that called for black pants. So I'm assuming that, of course, and I think that generally speaking, and you talked about, and same thing with me, my parents or my mom made my outfit, so they're going, okay, you're going to use this as long as we possibly can.
And it's so, we don't talk really about the cost implications all too often, but it is cost specific. You could argue, in regards to the black pants, you could suggest, as you watch Dimitry Tsarevski, he's potentially got higher waisted black pants to be more in style with the 1970s vibe. So you could suggest, if you had an endless money pot, you could say, oh, well, you need higher waisted black trousers for your 70s, whereas if you're doing, I don't know, contemporary free dance, then we can have a black jean, but it's expensive.
Yeah, Mark, I have an answer for that. It's just called a cummerbund. You know, just raise the level of your black pants a little higher with the cummerbund. No, I'm just joking, of course, but yeah,
it's
a good question. It's a very good question. It's sort of obscure in a way. That you're going, then you start thinking, well, do they wear two different pairs of black pants? You know? And your point is well taken. Some may be higher cut, some lower cut. So it's very possible they have two sets. I don't know.
What I would say, as Molly struggles a little with the twizzles there, is that one thing that is tricky with the costumes now in our sport, not just ice dance, but probably primarily in ice dance, is that we're using slides so often, and so choreographic slides and transitions with slides. And what I really notice, because I choreograph a lot and I'm bopping about all over and sliding about on my knees, is that it can actually mark the skaters. The chemicals on the ice discolor the trousers, and so quite often then the skaters, then it just doesn't look as good. And obviously ice dancers are so very particular about the aesthetic of their look, and so if you've got white patchy knees, it's not the best.
Okay, I get your point. You're actually absolutely right. See, I come from the dark ages, you know, the stone ages, when you would never even consider two pairs of black pants. Well, maybe, but now it's very true. They do a lot of slides on the ice, and perhaps it discolors the knees, and so you need, you know, and you need a backup. You always need a backup one. So okay, I get it.
So
I give in.
It's been a question about the black, about how you can. It just shows you our sport has its very niche specifics that you can make.
You know what? Great question, because I never thought of all those details that you just rambled off. But it's a really good question. Thank you for that. The audience is brilliant.
Yes.
And send more.
Theo Bigot, rinkside now, talking to the coach. His black pants they're very specific to, like, his black pants now scream out 1970s to me because of
bell
the flare,
bottoms.
60s, 70s. Yeah, the bell bottoms. So I don't suspect that he'd be wearing them for free dance.
I don't say I will fondly remember them. I do remember them. I don't fondly remember them because I always kept tripping on them, right? You know, the bell bottoms.
And actually, that's a good point then too, because you know the costumes for the skaters. I know certainly when I'm doing shows that the costume's important for the look, and it can enhance or detract, preferably enhance. But then there are safety implications, and so you know, you're just mentioning about your experience of bell bottoms being a trip-up hazard. That's obviously something that the teams have to be conscious and mindful for when they're doing the lifts and the twizzles and everything else.
The material is very important as well, particularly in pairs when you're doing the lifts and your hand is on the hip, and if it's on a slippery dress. So, you know, they use some firm grip and things like that. So there's all sorts of implications about how to dress, you know, appropriately for the number, at the same time safely for the handling of lifts and things like that. Here we go, Mark. Group number 2, rhythm dance. Let's go.
On the ice, representing the United
And
States
opening
of America,
this group,
Katarina
I
Wolfkostin
tipped
and
the
Dimitry
favourites
Tsarevski.
really for the title in Gdansk. Katarina Wolfkostin and Dimitry Tsarevski, incredibly strong, fundamentally brilliant skaters that did struggle in their rhythm dance when they competed in Ostrava, hoping for a clean skate as they skate to Car Wash and Disco Inferno. That is significant. Before taking courtesy by Katarina, Wolfkostin and Dimitry Tsarevski share a hug to celebrate a clean skate and confirming what I anticipated as the potential favourites to take the title. Immediately on the opening sequence of Paso-Doble, you could see a quality of skating skill, more ice coverage, more speed, more power, partly due to their age. They're an older team than that which we have seen thus far, but just fundamentally good quality skating skill.
More comfort and confidence and conviction in their performance for sure, along with really strong skating skills. Go ahead, Mark.
And you can just see the sharpness and the energy. So here we're looking at the Paso-Doble 2. So the key point, there's it's a closed mohawk, which is the part of the key point, and here the chassis. So the key points are identified. It's the women's steps 11 and 12 and man steps 15 and 16. And later steps 18 to 22. That's what will make a big difference for the tech score of the team. Just a tiny break in the rotation perhaps for Katarina there in the first twizzle. It depends how strict the tech panel are as to whether or not that will impact upon the level.
It did. 3 and 4.
Okay.
3 and 4.
Here, good forward inside counter.
Nice and close, eh?
Really impressive proximity to one another.
Great pick
And yeah,
up on
at this
that
point, at this point, their technical score before this final element was already higher than anybody else. The man moves through 6 rotations at least within 8 seconds for that lift as Tanith White, Olympic silver medalist, joins them in the kiss and cry. And nice to see how much there looks like a sense of relief and gratitude that Katarina and Dimitry have been able to skate a skate that is reflective of their potential as opposed to the mistakes that are made at the last event.
Yeah, what a great sort of comeback. 68.92, their personal best. Their season best is 55.98. They'll beat that score by quite a bit here with this performance, which was their goal. And other than this team, really, as we talked about, the podium wide open, we don't know sort of who's the favorite for second and third. We'll see as this event unfolds. 65.85, the season's best. Of course, that puts them in first place. They feel pretty gratified with that. Big improvement over Junior Grand Prix number 1 this season.
From the United States of America have earned well advanced 65.85 total points. This is their new season's best. They are currently in first place.
And from one of the eldest teams in the competition to one of the youngest teams, Dania, Mouaden and Theo Bigot. And again, although younger in age, experienced with good quality skating skills equally too.
Freeze! I'm Ma Baker. Put your hands in the air. Give me all your money.
Daniil, Mouaden and Theo Bigot, and I remember I said it at their first Junior Grand Prix of this season, recognizing and remembering how great their quality was last year. This program, when I saw it in their first Junior Grand Prix, I just was conscious that it maybe wasn't their style naturally, but now having seen it a second time with more mileage, more run-throughs, you can just see how well they have embraced the concept.
This team is completely deceptive because just 14 and 15, you think, oh, okay, well, they're going to skate young. They don't skate young. They skate mature and older and solid.
And here the arm above the head, one of the features, as too is the catch of the leg, and there the next arm feature, and this the Group C feature, the third twizzle, and obviously much smaller than Katarina and Dimitry in height, but their quality of skating and their knee bend and ankle bend allows them to cover good quality of ice, and that's why their components and skating skills will be high. And we're just talking about for this team, as we see the stop, you're allowed up to 2 stops of 5 seconds or 1 long stop of 10 seconds, using that in the composition really well. This team will be on the junior circuit for a while, 14 and 15, so they can't take the move to seniors for a few seasons. So we're going to be treated, as we watch through the non-touch midline and the second of their stops, to seeing this team develop on the Junior Grand Prix circuit. And it'll be, I think, enough time for them to make a seismic shift up into seniors when the time is right. Whoa, you just see how well that less than ideal foot placement was disguised by Theo in the straight line lift.
Yeah, this team is so secure. It's so surprising because you just don't feel that they're 14 and 15. They skate so closely together. They're so crisp with their movement. Wow, that's going to be good. And this, we're going to see, as you mentioned, them for perhaps 3 more years. So can you imagine how good they're going to be then? That transition into senior will be quite smooth at that point.
And what the coach Barbara Piton will have to do and consider, will there be a really conscientious long-term athlete development plan to keep them motivated? I mean, I'm saying this, they're not winning yet, so of course their objective, I'm sure, competitively will be to put themselves at the top of juniors first, but then how to navigate steering them then towards a senior career.
But look at their score, 62.21. That's the season's best. That's second. That's just 3 points off with Wolfkostin. Wow. That's, you can see just about 3.5 points behind Wolfkostin and Tsarevski. So that's a great outing so far.
Przed Państwem reprezentanci Wielkiej Brytanii. On the ice, representing Great Britain, Molly Hairsine and Alessio Surenkov-Gultchev.
And now to the British team of Molly Hairsine and Alessio Surenkov-Gultchev. This is their second Junior Grand Prix of the season. They were 9th in Bangkok, and they'll skate a 5th of Beethoven and Love Machine. Molly Hairsine and Alessio Surenkov-Gultchev. And Molly, we saw in the warm-up she had a tumble on the twizzle. Good to see Alessio comforting her now, because of course that will have been invading her brain space perhaps from the point they left ice after warm-up right through to the twizzles themselves. And unfortunately the fall and the mistake there will be really costly. And otherwise, when they were looking strong, they were looking like they were going to be competitive.
Yeah, they looked really good. And I think that when you have an element that you're a little bit worried about, but you're trying to perform at the highest level, particularly in ice dance, so you've got one side of your brain going, okay, let it go, you got to really perform here, and the other side is going, watch out for this part. And it's really, you know, a contest in your brain.
Yeah, and your brain's working at 110 miles per hour, considering, you know, the technique, and then considering the pressure and all of the enormity of the occasion. That so often the case that can impact, as we see.
First set.
So the first twizzle fine, yeah, and then here a back counter tricky, and then just didn't let the blade continue to cover the ice, forced and body over rotating. Aside from that, I thought the team looked stronger, and in this open field, the speed the ice coverage that they're showcasing, I thought Molly and Alessio are going to be competitive here. But just to give context with the twizzles and the mistake, they will have probably lost about 5 points on the tech score with that mistake, and then there'll be a consequential impact on the presentation from the component score. So you could be looking at subtracting 6-7 points.
Yeah. And they would have been
in the
they would have been in the high 40s, maybe even close to 50. And they're not going to be that with that mistake, unfortunately. But in some ways, you go, okay, if we're in that range around 50 when we skate clean, now they kind of know where they stand in the group. Let's take a look at the rhythm dance scores from Molly and Alessio. 43.87. You add 6 points to that, they're up around pretty close to 50, and that'll put them currently in 7th place.
Alessio Surenkov-Gultchev from Great Britain have in rhythm dance 43.87 total points. They're currently in 7th place. A przed Państwem reprezentanci Ukrainy. On the ice representing Ukraine, Myroslava Tkachenko and Riccardo Pesca.
And now to Myroslava Tkachenko and Riccardo Pesca, a team that were injured last month, so were ruled out of Ostrava, where they were originally intending to compete, and they will be going for a clear 1950s rhythm dance.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on. Join me home. We'll have some fun when the band starts. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Oh, rock, rock, rock. Rock me like a rock, rock, rock around the clock tonight.
Myroslava, Tkachenko and Riccardo Pesca complete their rhythm dance, and although they're an experienced team with international experience, this is indeed their first Junior Grand Prix, and they explained that they were excited to show the new programs and the new costumes and enjoy this, their first Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah, they look like a seasoned couple, you know, first time out of the Junior Grand Prix, but, you know, here we see them in their first time out, but they've got some really strong skating skills. We'll see what their scores are going to be, probably around the 50 mark.
Another team, as we look at the Twizzles that train at the YJ, the Young Goose Academy with Matteo, Barbara and Katarina. Here, the right forward outside Twizzle. I just wonder for Riccardo if he'll...
2. You got a 2.
Yeah, level 2. Some of those checked turns will have caused the level to drop. Interesting to see a curve lift. We tend to see straight line lifts in rhythm dance or rotational lifts. Nice to see the curve lift from Myroslava and Riccardo. Same value at level 4 as those others, just a different choice for the team. And here, as we look at the Paso Doble 2, they chose to do the second sequence of the Paso Doble first. For many, I think they consider that the more difficult as we work through the non-touch midline step. And you can almost tell with the team when they're doing the difficult turns trying to get the level, as opposed to the simpler turns which are boosting the composition. Here's one. You can see that one of the difficult turns which has a little level more conscientiousness in their delivery rather than as exuberant in the performance, which is understandable because they know the points value assigned to that. Katarina joins them again. And it's such a logistical challenge for the coaches who are producing so many teams in Enya. They have just an abundance of brilliant teams, but the challenge then is navigating how to distribute the coaches at the various different Junior Grand Prix and the Challenger events now as well. And
yeah, what a lovely place to train in Enya, Neumark, in Italy, just about 2 hours north of Verona. And of course, we've hosted numerous Junior Grand Prix there. We love going there. It's surrounded by mountains and rivers and valleys and apples and pears, and you know, it's just incredible. And the people there do such an amazing job and hosting the events. Hope they go back there at some point. But also, they've got a really good school there and have committed many years, both school and skating. 48.60 for Myroslava and Riccardo, and this will put them currently into 6th place.
Myroslava, Tkachenko and Riccardo Pesca from Ukraine have earned in rhythm dance 48.60 total points. They're currently in 6th place.
Well, now, Mark, we enter into our very first ice resurfacing of the day, and that means movie time. The ISU video selection. What do we got coming up?
Well, stay tuned to see some of the interviews from Ankara. First will be from Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky, who were the winners last week, and then to our must-watch moments from that same Junior Grand Prix, followed up by the charismatic Walter Rizzo, the ice dance coach from Italy in the Mic'd Up series, and finally to Noemi Mariatali and Noah Lafornara, his students, who won in Bangkok as well and have secured their space at the Junior Grand Prix final in Grenoble.
We hope you enjoy it. We'll be back right after this. Here in Ankara with the champions in ice dance, Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky of Germany. Wow, that's been amazing. You jumped from 3rd place on to the top of the podium. How do you feel, and what did you think of your skate today?
I'm so happy because I think our mindset going in today was like, whatever happens, happens. So we just tried to do a clean skate, and our coaches, even though they're in Oberstdorf right now with the other skaters, and our coach here, Barbara, supported us so much and just told us to go for it and just enjoy the skate. And I think we did today. So I actually really enjoyed the skate, and I didn't really think about what's going to be the points or the placement. So I think that was good.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because last year you won in Linz, you won in Gdansk, you were 3rd in the Junior Grand Prix final, you were 3rd at Junior Worlds, you were 3rd in Riga, and now you're champions here. That's a long journey, a lot of ups and downs and back and forth. And how did you get through all of that?
So especially the past couple of weeks, the past 2 weeks that we've spent in Enya, I think it was all about gathering the confidence, you know, getting back in shape, not just physically, but also mentally. Because, Yeah, I think this whole situation around us currently with the switch of the coaches and everything, it's all been really just, I think it's all been a mentally stressful situation. And we're so thankful to the entire team in Enya for getting us through those 2 weeks and just helping us in every single aspect possible. So I think that was the thing that made this whole thing here possible.
You have a third, you have a first, you're probably going on to the Junior Grand Prix final, so that's a bit of a relief off the shoulders, that's for sure. And what do you do between now and then? I guess you take a bit of a different, not approach, but a different attitude towards your work between now and December.
So we were planning on building a senior rhythm dance now, because we want to, dip into the senior category as well. We're not currently sure what we're gonna do next. If we're gonna go full on senior, if we're gonna stay junior and senior, or if we're gonna do full on junior. We're not sure.
Yeah, it's up to the new coach we decide to go to.
Yeah, but we'll definitely, the next week we'll spend building the senior rhythm dance and then preparing for the senior competitions, and then maybe coming back to the junior category. And yeah.
Well, you've had a lot of success over the past 2 years. Congratulations on all the medals that you've won. There's a bunch of them, all the medals that you won. And this is my third time getting to interview you, and it's such a joy to see you on top of the podium again. Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky of Germany, the champions here in Ankara. Hello everyone, welcome to Ankara. It's time now for the must-watch moments, some spectacular skating this week. First up, the ice dance. Mark, your thoughts?
In the dance event, there was movement after the rhythm dance with Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky from Germany moving up from third place after the rhythm dance to take the title. And having already competed twice in the Junior Grand Prix final previously, the 15 points secured here make their chances of a third time at the Junior Grand Prix final all the more likely. What about the women's event, Ted?
Well, Yusun Kim of Korea won that event in stunning fashion. She looked like she could not make a mistake, even if she wanted to. She was so solid, opening the program with a triple axel. That is a must-see program from the first note to the last. You won't want to miss that. Mark, what about the pairs?
Jasmine Desrochers and Kieran Thrasher from Canada were leading in their first Junior Grand Prix appearance this year, but dropped after the free skate. They managed, though, to maintain the lead after the short program with a win overall in Ankara, and they now take 28 points towards the Junior Grand Prix final. We look forward to hopefully seeing them again in Grenoble.
And in the men, Jacob Sanchez was absolutely brilliant in the short. He had to fight his way through the free program, ends up taking the title. But for a must-watch moment, check out Jacob Sanchez, the United States of America short program. Simply brilliant. You won't want to miss that. Mark, what about your picks, your special picks other than the champions?
A couple of standout moments amidst a brilliant week of skating, and for me, the Swiss skater in the men's event, Ian Wheeler, really stood out for the class and the refinement that he showcased. He's been working recently with Stéphane Lambiel, and you can see the influence of that former world champion, and I so appreciate the quality of his movement. In addition to that, I've got to acknowledge what I was so impressed with in the free dance competition from another Swiss skater. I feel very pro-Swiss today at this event, because Gina Zender and Beda Leon Saber totally took on board the idea of Edward Scissorhands, and their ability to encapsulate the essence of that seemed top class, world class, and I look forward to seeing how that program will develop as the season progresses.
And for me, I have two standouts, actually. Denise Terem from Turkey. Her short program in front of a crazy frenzy audience here. The pressure was on, and she delivered a beautiful, clean short program with triple lutz and really had some wonderful skills all the way through and had a good placement as well. And she looks like, and she's just 13 years old, so she has a very bright future indeed, and she's a real fierce competitor, so check that out. As well, I want to give a special mention to Stefania Gladky from France. She again medaled here in Ankara, but her free program is so charming and so brilliantly done. You won't want to miss that program. If you haven't seen that before in the Junior Grand Prix, check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I think it's always a little bit of a cliche choice to pick the leader of the event, but I will say I think the short program from Jasmine Durocher and Kieran Thrasher really was special. And I think even potentially a breakthrough performance for them. I will definitely say you should absolutely watch that.
And that concludes Ted and Mark's must-watch moments from Ankara, Turkey.
But where do you buy the shoes?
Italy.
The other one, I like 2. This one is too much to be.
Too much for you?
Yeah. È un ordine. Vieni su queste gare con noi. Vieni, tranquillo. Sì, mi fa piacere. Sì, assolutamente sì. Per cui vai tranquillo come stamattina senza nessun problema. Mi fa, ma sei una superstar? Faccio, no, sono vecchio. Bend, ok, fast, and look crazy, dance. Okay, spend time to watch the judges on the ice. Bring them with you on the ice. Okay, make them dance. Okay, don't be boring. Okay, you are training to do this one, you go like this. Grazie. Bene così, capito? Tutto qua, è tutto qua, capito? Presente in ogni passo. Oh, devi essere showman. Capito? Stai con lei però. Stai con lei. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Come on! Meno 6 punti e vediamo quanto prendiamo. Con la caduta e tutto saranno 10.
Cioè il secondo e il terzo quanto siamo giocati?
No? Third place. It's ok. Gli devi dare il mio numero di telefono. He has everything.
He has everything? Oh, you're lazy. You need to give it to me.
I am the assistant of the assistant, and he is my assistant. It's a long line.
Here in Bangkok with the ice dance champions, Noemi Maria Tali and Noah Lafonera from Italy. This is your second win on the Junior Grand Prix already. How did you feel about your performances here?
We're definitely very happy with the outcome. The short felt much better than Riga. Our goal was to come here and improve on our performances from 2 weeks ago. So seeing that pay off was it was a good feeling. The free dance was a bit more stressful.
Yeah, because during the warm-up, we kind of had like an accident with another couple. So I got injured and like my ankle was like a bit sliced open. So, and it hurt quite a bit, so we were kind of like scared and stressed. Are we going to compete or not? But then like I got medical support and like, yeah.
We mustered through it.
Yeah.
So the free dance definitely felt a little more like, let's get through this, but in the end it was still a good performance.
Maybe that's what you were feeling. What Mark and I were watching was really an outstanding free dance and rhythm dance, of course, as well. And we thought you had really come along from your first Junior Grand Prix title. So that's been really exciting. Now, what do you do from now on? You've got obviously a number of months before Grenoble in the Junior Grand Prix final.
We're gonna have a few international competitions so we can like keep competing, yeah. And we are definitely gonna work so hard to get there to Grenoble, like in our best shape. So we're excited.
Yes, I think we're definitely gonna go back, work a lot on refining some things, just really excited to start training for Grenoble, so.
Yep.
Well, outstanding. Congratulations on both your wins. The ice dance champions here in Bangkok, and their ticket has been punched to Grenoble.
Na rozgrzewkę zapraszamy trzecią grupę zawodników. The following couples may now take the ice for the warm-up. From Poland, Sofiia Dovhal and Wiktor Kulesza. From Germany, Eniko Kobor and Zoart Kobor. From Canada,
Welcome back, everyone, to Gdansk, Poland. Day number 2 of competition on week number 5. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanratty. We are on group number 3 in the rhythm dance, our first event here on day number 2. Mark?
Yeah, and as the next group of 10 skaters take to the ice, can just answer some of the questions that have come through to us on the International Skating Union's social media on Instagram. And one of the questions coming from at Emily Dev 43, please explain what factoring is in the judges' scoring. And in the ice dance competition, the factoring pertains to the program component score, the second mark. And so in a rhythm dance, the teams have 5 technical elements. And in an attempt to try to balance the weight of the scores from the technical score to the program component scores, the program component scores are multiplied by a certain number. In the rhythm dance, the program component scores are multiplied by 1.33. In the free dance, because there are more elements and thus a higher technical score, the component scores are multiplied by 2 points, or by 2. And so it's just to try, the factoring is essentially to try to balance out the technical score and the component score for the skating skills and presentation and the composition. Is that?
Yeah, no, that was good. Look, I didn't even know those numbers. I mean, good. Okay. Thank you for asking the question, and Mark, thanks for the answer. But you know, in the beginning of building the system, which I was involved in, the concept was we're trying to get a balanced skater, that the technical proficiency and the program components, or if you will, the artistic aspect of the sport, are to some degree the goal to become somewhat equal. And so the factoring came into place to try to help that. Now, they're not always equal. You have skaters that are really jump or lift or technical experts, really, but really don't connect to the music. They storytell. The skating skills may not be that strong, but they can certainly gather the points through the technical aspects. So it was really to try to balance, or to have a goal for teams and for individuals to balance their skating through time. You don't do it all at once. You're not a great performer and a great jumper or whatever at the same time. You've got to, will lean one way or the other as to where your skill is, and then you have to work on the weaknesses to sort of equalize that. So that's the root of the reason why that factory was built.
Yeah, and in the women's and the men's single skating, the factoring is different between the two disciplines, and that's I noticed that's caused some consternation for some online who were saying, oh, no, it's not fair, why would that be? But that is because the men's event tends to have more quadruple jumps in the free skate and more triple axels performed, and thus the tech score is higher. So in an attempt to balance those two scores, the factoring of the second mark is a higher number. And so that's the rationale behind all of that. Ooh, gosh, scary biscuits. But it's just purely to try to balance up the skating, and that's the rationale behind it. So hopefully, Amelia, that makes sense.
Yep. Well done.
Next question that's come in, can you explain if skating clothes have any protection for the body?
Well, that's a really, oh God. Okay, how long do we have left in this warm-up?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far I want to go down that rabbit hole, but you know, it's a good question. I don't have an answer because in the Dark Ages, in the Stone Age, when I skated, there was no such thing as protection, but you had really bad material, really thick material that didn't stretch so much, so I guess there was protection there. But when you see the women stepping on the man's thigh, and Mark, you probably could answer this better because you are in dancing on ice. So, what's the answer?
It's a really good question, and I actually think your point about when you were skating, there was a concept that, oh, you know, we don't need protection. I remember when I was single skating, and the coach said, oh, you need padding, bum pads, like shorts, hot pant type shorts with padding to protect the hips and your glutes and your bottom. And remember, there's an element of stigma about it. But interestingly now, for me commentating and being at events, I see all of the really, really elite skaters, the skaters that are producing the highest difficulty, wearing the padding. And so to me, it's, lose your ego mark and just accept that, these people are wearing padding to protect for longevity. So we even see it sometimes. We saw in Eddie, the Canadian skater yesterday, he had padding on during the event. And that's
Edward
Vasi. That's just purely for the protection of the athlete. And so now, old Mark, when I was free skating, would have thought, who needs protection? Now I think absolutely good on you for protecting your body and making sure you've got longevity and injury-free.
It took a long time, but people get wiser. So it takes a long time. But you got to protect your body, and this is a demanding sport. You're all dressed up really nice. It's really beautiful. It's really pretty. But this is a physical, demanding sport. And that ice is not soft, and it doesn't bounce you back.
Yeah.
So, the padding in some cases is absolutely appropriate for longer
On the ice, representing
career.
Poland,
Here we go, Mark.
Dovhal and Wiktor Kulesza.
And now, time to see the home ice dance team, the Polish couple, Sofiia Dovhal and Wiktor Kulesza. And they will skate to it. And the beat goes on YMCA. A great skate from Sofiia Dovhal and Wiktor Kulesza. I always think this team has such difficulty and such intricacy, and perhaps in their first junior Grand Prix when they competed in Riga, it was the difficulty that prevented them getting a higher result. Since then, they have made some changes. They've explained they've also done a domestic competition as Jakub Lafek cheers them on. So they've competed again in Poland, made the changes, and there was significantly more speed and more ice coverage.
and hopefully a consequential big points boost as well.
Yeah, this should be a season's best score. We'll see in just a few moments, but this is much better.
And this, I have to shout out to the fact that their choice of holds in the Paso Doble is the best that I have seen. Here in a more conventional Watts hold for the key point there, his outside close, with the outside close mohawk, but they are using, particularly in the first side, more intricacy of hold than others, which I really respect, which hopefully will be reflected in the creative execution as we see the twizzles. Now, I just wondered, because they did the back outside, left back outside, and then they did right back outside. I thought all three twizzles had to start off a different, it must be my bad, but my rule. I need to go and check my rules, Ted.
Okay.
Bad mark. But here, the stop within the midline. And at this point in time, Sofiia is starting to relax and really enjoy what they must have felt at this stage was a solid performance. Full ice coverage width, so the components, I feel, should be at least in the sixes.
Yeah, they look really comfortable through this whole dance. I think once they got into the dance itself, they just settled down and actually enjoyed the process, which you can see right here on Sofiia's face.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, great job.
And their longtime coach Sylvia Novak-Trabaka, joined by their other coach and choreographer Maxim Spidyriev, and it's wonderful to see Sylvia, who coached Maxim, who's now helping this generation, the family of skate education in Polish ice dance, and who knows, perhaps Sofiia and Wiktor will go on to coach other great stars of the future as well.
Well, 56.26, season's best by quite a bit, and that'll put Sofiia and Wiktor currently in the third place. And they look really pleased, satisfied, and proud of that result and that performance. As you see, the top 5 teams so far in the rhythm dance event.
They're currently in third place. Przed Państwem reprezentanci Niemiec, on the ice representing Germany, Eniko Kobor and Zoart Kobor.
So we've seen lots of siblings competing in different disciplines in this event in Gdansk. Now Enika Kobor and Zoart Kobor, the twins, take to the ice in their Junior Grand Prix debut, and they will skate to Don't Bring Me Down and Mr. Blue Sky.
twins Eniko and Zohar Kubor representing Germany in their Junior Grand Prix debut. And you know, we so often see perhaps single skaters debuting on the Junior Grand Prix with a technical content that is really, really competitive. Eniko and Zohar have come in here with 6 of the 8 key points currently assigned, level 4 twizzles, level 2 for both on the step, and a level 4 rotational lift. So a very impressive technical debut for the siblings.
Yeah, that's amazing. They're going to have a good score for a debut in the Junior Grand Prix.
Actually, that closed mohawk from Zohar was really impressive compared to some that we have seen. And the coaching staff, Stefano Caruso and Robin Tweedale, were just explaining that whilst they may be twins, as we look at the twizzles, they have absolute opposite personalities, strengths and weaknesses. So what a wonderful job that the coaching staffs have done to, you know, keep 2 skaters aligned and prepared and ready, knowing that they're having to deal with very different characters.
Let alone the parents' work at home.
Yeah. Really good match through this, and like I said, level 2 assigned is currently under review, so the technical panel looking for at least 3 difficult callable clean turns. The twizzle will be indisputably one of them, we just saw. And here an inside counter, okay. And it varies event to event a little bit as to the demands of the tech panel, how clean the turns need to truly be.
Rotational lift.
The difficult exit of the rotation.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 elements were under review. That's all been cleared now. But you're going to see a pretty good score here for first time out. It's going to be a great score. I love that move by the camera too.
And as Robin joins them in the kiss and cry, good to see that the high levels that were input by the technical panel were maintained under jurisdiction of a review, because when it was looked back at and they've got the access to seeing it again, really impressive then, testament to the depth of their edge set that those were maintained.
Well, they don't have a season's best, obviously, the first time out, and they have a 51.58. You can see their heads nod right away, saying, okay, that's a good score. That'll put them into 4th place at the moment. Great job. Great debut.
They're currently in 4th place. Przed Państwem reprezentanci Kanady.
Well, I sense that in Gdansk the Canadian team gets loudest, because you can hear the support for Summer Hummick and Nicholas Bulot. Summer was a pair skater until March of this year. Now here, as an ice dancer, different discipline, and competing in Gdansk, Poland with Nicholas. Amazing story. Summer Hummock and Nicholas Bulow and Ted, I think a good Danny and Sandy. Very apt choice of music for the couple as I think Eddie cheer them on.
Yeah, it fit them extremely well, and they did a great job. I mean, she's only been in ice dance, and that's a big switch in disciplines from pair skating to ice dance. She did a great job. Up to the twizzles, some problems a little bit on the twizzles, but I was really impressed with this is such a short period of time. Yeah, they're both good individual skaters, but, you know, well matched here.
Yeah, and although, you know, in the pairs discipline, here does she have to do the technical difficulty of throws and side-by-sides, but just stylistically it can be so different from pairs to dance, and Summer's done a brilliant job on matching up, and Summer and the coaching staff have done a brilliant job as we see that interaction within the non-touch midline step sequence, and great there, just the fact that she's got that extension in line that is matched on that right forward, left forward outside edge. And here you can see in the change of pose, just the commitment to extension and shape that will develop in time. Even considering for Summer, the fact that she'll have had to change her skates, that in itself will have been a big change for Summer. You can see as she's doing Paso Doble 1, the boots cut down low at the back, the blades are shorter, her balance point will be different, and perhaps that part of the reason that the twizzles were a little bit scuffy, as we see here.
That's such a good point, Mark. I mean, going from a longer blade with more stability, more on the ice, to this little rocking back and forth, that was the the big mistake. But other than that, they did a great job for their debut.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, having done both disciplines, can say doing triple jumps is harder than doing twizzles. That I believe, but doing twizzles with different blades and doing it in sync with somebody else, it's just a whole different concept that takes more time than they've really had as they're joined by Mitch Islam in the kiss and cry.
Mark, you need to put a pair of hockey skates on. Try that. Try the TS blades. Try the free skate blades. Do it all and say, oh, okay. Then come back to us and report. Because you're right. It's different.
Love to try.
Yeah.
Didn't Kurt Browning do double axel and hockeys on Back for the Blades?
I know there was a double axel. It might have been like maybe it was a triple toe or something. He jabbed that. He just there's no pitch on hockey skate. It was incredible.
Just jab around.
Yeah, but he's a freak of nature in that his ability and talent was so incredible. He could have been an NHL hockey player too. Yeah, maybe he's too small, but he was really highly talented. Is highly talented. Yeah, what a great debut. I mean, I think they're going to get a pretty good score for their first time out after about 4 or 5 months of dancing for Summer. I think this is really impressive, even with that big mistake on the twizzles. Here it is, 51.17, and that's a pretty good score considering the base value for the twizzles for Summer. And that'll put them currently into 5th place. Good job. Well done by coaches, coaching team, and this team in such a short period of time.
Przed Państwem reprezentanci Estonii. On the ice representing Estonia, Ksenia Stipunova and Miron Koryagin.
And to the Estonian ice dance team competing in Gdansk, Ksenia Stipunova and Miron Koryagin. And they will be performing to music by the Beatles. We've heard it on the Junior Grand Prix already. Wonderful music, and the opportunity for them to show the prerequisite 1950s, 60s, or 60s, 70s dance styles.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
I like the finish position there from Xenia Supernova and Miron Korjagin, a team that have competed at Junior Worlds. They've done one Junior Grand Prix previously. We were just chatting about the choice. I love Let It Be by the Beatles. I love the music from the Beatles and what a great contrast it offered. And certainly the second track fitted the required characteristics of the high energy that the Iceland Technical Committee have asked the skaters to come up with.
Yeah, I thought it was a great, change of pace, if you will, especially at the beginning of the program. A set of twizzles here in at a level 3 for Xenia and level 4 for Miron.
And here the curve lift, both in difficult position. It has to be sustained and maintained for at least 3 seconds for the level to be given to those two difficult positions. And here, part of the non-touched midline, that a twizzle in isolation is a difficult step within that step sequence, an opportunity for that to boost the level there. The outside closed mohawk. You can see starting to maybe fatigue a little bit the commitment to the awareness of the shoulder blades being pulled back, starting to wane a little bit, but good here. So here, this step from Miron was the key point, and these steps now also, and they have been awarded 5 out of 8. It's pretty good going, and it seems actually that the technical panel here, love that finish position. Thanks for catching that, Ted. The technical panel here have been quite favourable for the teams in what is called clean on the key points within the paso doble, and that can vary and affect the base value of those two elements.
Rhythm dance scores for Xenia and Miron at 46.98, and that will put them currently into 10th place. They brought something different to the ice, a different presentation of this era of music, and I thought it was really nicely done, and lots of work still, of course, but refreshing. It's one of the great things about ice dance, it's such a variety.
When we first saw this team, Hilda Taylor and Alexander Busholt, they had been together just a matter of weeks. They have since their first Junior Grand Prix in Riga had almost the same time again as their entire partnership to prepare for this event in Gdansk. Hilda Taylor and Alexandra Bouchot, a team together. Still just a matter of weeks, and how they have used the first Junior Grand Prix experience in Riga to motivate training back in Helsinki, where they train with Neil Brown and Maurizio Margalio.
Yeah, and you wonder, Mark, you know, the value of going out earlier than you know, to get that experience when you're not really comfortable yet with the team, or, you know, which is the lesser of two evils there, right? Get it a little bit longer, a little bit more comfort, then compete, or get out in competition right away and learn.
And they did such an incredible job as we look at the Paso Doble one of getting prepped in time to compete in Riga. And now you can see the advancement in the levels event on event. They had 4 more key points here than in Riga, as we see Alexander just struggling there with the second twizzle, the more difficult of the two for his natural way of rotation. And there's the rotational lift, currently under review, but initially achieved a higher level than in Riga as well. And now this will be where we can start to separate the teams, not just in terms of the level, but also in terms of the program component scores regarding the skating skill. It was level 1 for both in Riga and the same here, so just a lessened degree of edge set. But no doubting, as we see, particularly from Hilda, the commitment to the presentation for the Black Betty, right through to the fingertip choice.
And I was just going to say, Alexander looks, you know, he's doing the movements. He doesn't look 100% convinced or doing them fully yet, because he's still focused. You know, it's a new team, so you still focus. Where's my partner? Where's my foot? You know, what edge am I on? You know, plus the performance up top. So that gets, your mind is talking to you on so many different levels. And so that commitment to that performance level is not as high as it will be in another month or two. So, you know, so much is going on in your head at the time.
And as is often the case, again, sweeping generalizations, but the male half of the team tends to fixate on tech score. As a generalization, the women more of a performer, and Hilda certainly carried the performance for the team on this occasion.
At this stage, this occasion. Rhythm dance score 41.41. That'll put Hilda and Alexander currently into 13th place.
Hilda Taylor and Alexander Bohol from Finland have earned in rhythm dance 41.41 total points. They're currently in 13th place.
Well, group number 4, the final group in the rhythm dance, our first event here on day 2. This will be followed up as we take a look at the warm-up group number 4 skating order. This will be followed up with the pairs free program, the first medal event here, and the very final pairs competition of the Junior Grand Prix. We will know within a number of hours the top 6 teams that will go on to the Junior Grand Prix final in Grenoble. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting. Lots can happen. And then we'll finish the day out with the women's free program medal event as well.
And that discussion about the Junior Grand Prix final held in France in Grenoble in a couple of months' time gives us opportunity just to check in with the standings at present for the ice dance event. And currently, as I mentioned earlier, Noemi Mariatali and Noah Lafornara comfortably have secured their spot at the final in France, thanks to their 2 titles, first in Riga and then in Bangkok. And then Daria Grimm and Mikhail Savitsky have likely achieved the spot with the 3rd place in Riga and the win last week in Ankara. Beyond that, we have other teams yet to compete. Selena Frage and John Hanford are currently 4th. They have an event in hand, so we'll see what happens beyond this event as we head towards Ljubljana and Wuji. An opportunity now to check in with the questions that have been sent in, and we have a great question from a skater who I presume is educated with the discipline from years before, from @book waltzing. What were qualifying rounds, compulsory figures, and special figures?
What were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wonder what prompted that awareness of even what they were for those that
That's
and years
research.
before they made it.
Let's talk about compulsory figures first of all, because I'm old enough to have done them. You're not. You didn't do the figures. Did you? No.
Well, I actually, the World Championships that I did was the last time that compulsory figures were ever performed, or the last event they were ever performed in competition.
The Worlds in Halifax?
Oh, sorry, compulsory figures. Sorry, compulsory dances. Sorry,
Yes,
figures. No, I didn't do that. Lead on, mate. Lead on.
Stay with the program here, Mark. Stay with the program. I'm
Wake
going,
up, boy.
You did compulsory figures? I don't think so. But anyways, that happened in 1990 in Halifax, Canada, the final figures. And actually, we were filming that. We put a rows. There was a big production around all that. Compulsory figures were figure eights, which had brackets and rockers and counters and three turns that you had to do on specific parts of the circles, and the alignment of the edges of the circles, the alignment across from one three turn to the other three turn, the counter or the rocker in the middle of the center, those types of details, and the tracing. So you would go around in some cases 6 times, and so you want to have all those 6 tracings absolutely right on top of each other. And as close as you can, and not wobbling. So they were specific markings on the ice in which were dictated. You would do up to 6 figures in a competition, and it would take days to do these competitions. So yeah, that was many years ago, before 1990, when they removed figures, and yeah, it was a big part of the sport for so many years. You can look that up on Google, and you'll see people doing figures. It wasn't really exciting part of the sport, I can tell you that. So, and then what was the other 2 items on the list there, Mark?
So it was regarding the compulsory dances, but I just want to. I did actually, just as you were talking, Ted, I just did a quick Google check because there were the figures that were performed as compulsory figures, and then there were the special figures, and I've seen a resurgence of this recently. Apparently, special figures were first performed at an event in Vienna in 1882. And they were part of the Olympics in 1908 in the Summer Olympic Games. And I saw recently the special figures, Katarina Kostner, who I spoke to obviously recently, I've seen her do some of these special figures, and some of those tracings, which are different to the competitive ones performed that you mentioned in 1990 last, but they have made these ornate tracings which are just artwork. And I feel comfortable as a skater, confident that I've got a decent command of my blade, but there's no way I could replicate some of these patterns on the ice that are just, like I say, pieces of art.
So when we were being trained in figures, we would do those special figures as well, because it would help with your balance point. You'd have to go, forward and then turn a bracket, go backwards, and then go into a rocker, a counter, or some other turn. You would make the iron cross. You make these all crazy designs. Yes. So it was very cool and very creative as well. So yeah, it was. Those were the, sort of antique figures, if you will. And then, compulsory dance quickly. When did they lose that?
Compulsory dances. So compulsory dances, there are a whole host of compulsory dances which have been created over decades and decades of the sport. And so there would be fixed steps to a fixed tempo, to fixed music that we used to have as the first part of an ice dance competition. And so you would originally perform maybe 5, then it dropped to 2, then it dropped to 1, and now compulsory dances are performed as part of the rhythm dance. And the compulsory dance, or latterly known as pattern dance, in this season's rhythm dance for juniors only, is the Paso Doble, and you'll see a unique take on it, because now the teams will perform the men's and the women's steps, as Laura Finelli and Massimiliano Bucchiarelli take to the ice, 17 and 20 years old respectively, and they will skate to Le Freak and Hot Stuff.
Phew, that was a lot of history. Here we go.
Well, a very big tech score is being posted for Laura Finelli and Massimiliano Bucchiarelli, a team who were 5th in the rhythm dance in Ostrava as the pair team from Italy cheered them on. They dropped to 12th in the free dance. They had elements that weren't called. They had real problems with the tech score in the free dance in that event. But given the openness of this competition, this team is really in with a shout of being medalists.
Right now, their score is going to be pretty impressive and put them right up amongst the mix for the podium.
And actually, it looks like they have achieved all 8 key points, which is something that the leaders haven't done. As we see now, the key points, this, the cross behind change edge for Lara, that one of the key points. And everything here must be showcased to be 100% clean and clear in regards to the edges set.
So, Mark, what is the math on getting all 8?
So for each key point, I think it's about 1/3 of a point extra. So it's not massive, but to get a level 4 on the each sequence of the Paso Doble is 5.5 points at base value. So it does give a boost from the comparison to that of the lower teams, who will be, I think, it's about 3 points, 3.2, I think, for base call. So not a huge amount, but every point counts as we see them working through the non-touch. And here the difficult entry, that's one feature. He's got to work through 6 rotations. There the change of pose, trying to showcase 2 different pictures. And there that Ina Bauer and the little twizzle there, all of that contributing towards what is deemed a difficult exit for another feature in the rotational lift. As the Wiktor joins them.
Wiktor, I spoke with him just before this event started. He's got brand new shoes right off the shelf. They're really bright white shoes. Let's look at the rhythm dance score. 63.67, that's a season best. And look at their reaction. They are thrilled. So is Wiktor. Wow, that's great. That puts them currently in a 2nd place. I think they didn't quite expect that. They hoped for a big score. That is really strong. Well done.
They're currently in 2nd place.
Well, keep referencing this relatively open field, but Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Thierrin are former medalists on the Junior Grand Prix, so they will undoubtedly be eyeing a medal. They were perhaps a little disappointed to be 5th in Riga, but they acknowledge that they've learned a lot from that experience and have made changes since then. it paid off for Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Tierra, and they said that they'd spent the last 3 weeks changing the music cuts and the element order as Team Skate Canada cheered them on, as well as most of the transitions. So essentially the rhythm dances massively changed to that which they produced in Riga, and that's a bold, brave choice to do that with such limited time between events.
Yeah, this team's going to challenge for podium position. We'll see what the scores are, but that was solid.
And they had a tough off-season with injury, and eager to resume the form that had their personal best, as we see that change of edge. And the tip behind there for Sandrine in the Paso Doble 1.
6 out of 8.
6 of the 8. Yeah, sorry, Ted, yeah.
No, go ahead.
And here, interesting to note, as we saw with some of the other teams, that when you come to do the clockwise rotating twizzle, the facial expression always just tenses up ever so slightly.
It's true, it's true.
I can understand why it's so much more difficult. And here, as we see so many of the teams do, utilizing the opportunity to stop within this step sequence element to send home the message about their composition and presentation amidst the difficult turns. The bracket bravely placed right in front of the technical panel there.
Great ice coverage, good turns, good speed, beautiful.
Fast.
Yeah.
Actually, probably the fastest rotation lift that we've seen.
Yeah, and a plus 1.17 GOE, so they gathered 6.62 on that last element. It should be a pretty good score for this team. And smiles in the kiss and cry right now. Will those smiles grow? Well, we'll find out in just a moment. Benjamin Brisebois, he's on the Junior Grand Prix a lot with these young teams as part of his responsibility from the School of Montreal. And
The scores, please.
we take a look at the rhythm dance scores for Sandrine and Quentin. Season's best, 63.96, and that will put them currently in the second place. It's a good score.
Sandrine and Quentin from Canada have earned in rhythm dance 63.96 total points. This is their new season's best. They're currently in second place. Przywitajmy reprezentantów Stanów Zjednoczonych. On the ice.
And so now to the American team, Yali Pedersen and Benjamin Starr, a team who got together on May 28th. Tomorrow will mark 5 months of this partnership, so new, but obviously respected by the United States figure skating and recognizing their potential, sending them to represent the nation at Junior Grand Prix.
Sunshine, moonlight, good times, boogie. Sunshine, moonlight, good
epitome of professionalism in taking her bow. Yali Pedersen and partner Benjamin Starr, as I mentioned, not even a full 5 months of a partnership, and so that totally makes sense as to why mistakes would be made at this very early stage of their partnership. But I can see, as I mentioned before, you can see with the quality of what they have offered why they would be selected to represent America here, because the potential is great.
Yeah, individual, very strong skating skills, so no problem there at all. And this team just needs a little bit more time, and that's an unusual mistake for you, for Yali. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment.
And here, lots of ice coverage through the first twizzle. Just a little check on the rotation there for Yali again within the twizzle, so probably dropping a couple of levels on the second twizzle. Here, it was an incredibly deep edge onto the back inside counter and just caught the boot perhaps, and consequently the problem here is that happened in the midline step sequence, and that one of the most weighted elements. So if you consider that the leaders had almost 10 points on that one element, and Yali and Benjamin, because of the mistake and the necessary deductions, are down about 4 points. So it just gives them hopefully a positive reinforcement for when they get the score. Well, all things considered, we could have added likely, 5 to 6 points to our total score.
And you'll see that in their scores, not so terrible. And you added those other points, they're going to be in the mix for sure. But on this day, that was costly.
And not only have they been together a short time, but injury prevented them from getting summer competition experience. So they're not even coming into this event with 5 months of training, but some competitions under their belt. They don't even have that. And so that indication of, really how monumental this performance was. And what I love most of all is the fact that they're new, but they're united. Mistakes made, but still united.
Yeah,
kiss and cry.
Absolutely. And it's a long journey, and you're going to have the bumps in the road, and this is one of them. But it's early on, and actually, in some ways, a mistake like that early on is very helpful because it helps to sort of solidify as they move forward. You don't want that happening at the Junior World Championships as they're battling for a medal. So this team has the ability and has the potential. You see that right on the ice, and you'll see that even in the score with that mistake. So, disappointing for the moment, but maybe sort of not too bad in the long term.
And solidity in the partnership weighs really heavy in ice dance. When there are lots of teams that chop and change, we look at Madison Chalk, Evan Bates, we look at all the medalists at the World Senior Championships. They've all been together for over a decade.
Yeah.
Yali and Benjamin are obviously individually both very competent, good quality skaters. If the friendship that they appear to have now can be maintained and worked on for a prolonged period, that might serve them, in good stead more than others, because, as I say, longevity in ice dance pays dividends.
The physical mistakes, they happen, but having the teamwork and the couple together as a team, that will overcome those mistakes. They're going to happen. You cannot avoid them. No one goes through a journey in competitive skating clean, absolutely clean. But if you have that unity as a team, you'll get through those much quicker, and you'll learn from them faster as well. The relationship is so incredibly important. We've talked about that on numerous occasions, of course.
So Tanith White, Olympic and world silver medalist, and also tissue holder.
Yes, there we go. 51.41, and you can see a nod of approval there by Yali, and that'll put them currently in 7th place, but you add a good number of points to that. They're up in the 60, close to 60 anyways, and a good start for such a new team.
They're currently in 7th place. Aby przywitanie reprezentantów Czech.
And I to Lauren, Audrey Barkova and Jacob Yang. And after their first event in Ostrava, Lauren said that more often than not, a win is more than a podium finish. It is the multitude of small goals and milestones achieved. And with that in mind, we wish them more little goals and milestones achieved within this next rhythm dance performance to I Will Survive and Proud Mary. Lauren, Audrey, Barkova and Jacob Yang representing the Czech Republic, skating much more confident and securely than they had in their first outing on the Junior Grand Prix this
so
year.
much better, and you can see they're so much happier coming off the ice. And I think once they get past some of the early elements, the joy came out in their performance, and they're pushing to the limits, better speed, better depth of edge, good twizzle set, and in level 4 actually for both. So well done, and just one element with the minus Chewy.
Yeah, and I think perhaps as we watch through this Paso Doble 2 sequence for Lauren and Jacob, we can see maybe more so in the ice dance competition the development of the confidence in the teams as they get further on into the season, and certainly that was very evident from Lauren and Jacob. Great difficult entry into the rotational lift, and we'll see the change of pose and then the difficult exit. And here that difficult entry, that their Group C feature, and catching of the blade, a hand above the head, those the next 2 features, and the hands clasped and extended in front, the 4th and final feature in their twizzle sequence, constituting that level 4 for both. So here on the midline step, the reason it's coming in as a 1 for both Lauren and Audrey, that turn there counter wasn't considered to be a clean inside edge ingoing and outgoing sufficiently. This is a back Choctaw, and again, the technical panel not feeling confident enough that they were sustained and visible. And as I say, that's just what is separating a lot of these teams, that level of technical element score prowess.
You can look at the energy in the kiss and cry. They're thrilled with that performance. So they should be. That's so much better than the first time out with a 48.03. That's the season's best. And Lauren looks happy with that. And that'll put them currently in a 13th place.
48.03 total points. This is their new season's best. They're currently in 13th place.
Well, this is a big moment for the final team competing in the rhythm dance. Lilia Schubert and Nikita Ramashevsky. They were meant to compete in Ostrava, but Lilia had a concussion and consequently had to skip that event. They've only been able to do run-throughs for 2 weeks in preparation for this, their first ever Junior Grand Prix together.
Work all day, but I want you to be true. I just wanna make love to you, love to you, ooh, love to you. And I can tell by the way you walk that walk, I can tell by the way you talk that talk, I can know by the way treat your girl that I can
Well, that completes the rhythm dance competition on the 5th stop of the ISU Junior Grand Prix 2024. Theo Schubert and Nikita Ramachevsky from Germany delivering a performance that hides the fact, as their teammates wave them ringside, hides the fact that they had the injury and that they have had such little preparation time.
Again, you know, a team that is coming in with not a lot of preparation time, having a great outing here in Gdansk.
And you can see immediately a confidence of movement that will showcase good quality of skating skill. Here, the leg feature, the hand feature, the position of that leg, those legs and arms dictates a level each, and staying on one foot is another. It's a Group C feature. That part of the reason that they had, or that was their aim for level 4, and level 3 assigned to Lilia. Perhaps some check turns there, as we see the section of the Paso-Doble with the cross rolls and transitional content interspersing here, part of the non-touch, and give you the turns that are called by the tech panel. Here's the counter, which I don't think will get called there. And there, the outside closed mohawk. Twizzle! And outside swing choctaw. Jump entry, that a feature that I don't think we used today for a level, and the rotational lift. And a great body alignment in the extension from Lilia on their difficult exit. With good fun, and I love this. At the end of the program, when given their lack of preparation time, they must have been exhausted. Let's hope that they've got enough oxygen in their legs to do the free dance tomorrow as well.
Well, Lilia had lots of energy throughout that program and looks just thrilled to be back on the ice performing. And they may have been a little bit tired, maybe a little bit out of shape. I didn't notice that. I thought they had energy from top to bottom. And we'll take a look at the rhythm dance scores. They don't have a season's best, obviously. This is the first time out. They should have a relatively good score here. Pretty clean skate. And there it is, 54.02. They seem pretty happy with that. That will put them into 6th place. As we see, about 7 points away from the podium, which is a significant amount in ice dance. So we'll take a look at the final standings as we finish up here on event number 1, day number 2. There it is. All in the 60s in the top 4 positions, and then we drop down into the 50s from 5, 6 downward.
Lots of 51s.
yeah, exactly. That'll be tight. We'll probably see some changes in that area. So that concludes the coverage of the rhythm dance. Up next will be the paired free program, and this will determine the final 6 that make it to the Junior Grand Prix final in Grenoble. This is the first medal event here in Gdansk. For all of us here at the ISU, I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Henry. Thank you for watching. Make sure you stay with us and join us for the pairs free.